Follow www.soulcentralmagazine.com.
But you did have a choice. You just, chose drugs over staying in school,
By the
being
time
a
you
top
was
track star.
right,
You know what I'm saying? But you got caught up in drugs.
I had a choice. I was studying communications and filmmaking and education, and I left that. I about to go into internship back in the late '70s to do it right. Then again, I tried it in '89, 10 years after I got away. I just when I got to prison and I got to thinking about it, and then it was just so violent in prison everywhere, and I'm mad at that. I'm not even mad with the judge. I wasn't even mad with the nonsense attorneys or anybody else. I wasn't mad with nobody but myself. I said, you know what? You crazy, man. How could you have made such a decision to do such thing? And that's my message to people, man. Don't make them decisions if you are able, if you have a good mind, if you're intelligent, you can do anything. You can do, but don't do that. Don't do that. I remember my mom, man. My mom used to tell. I'd go to my mom's house, hi, and I stopped because I hadn't seen my mom, and I stopped her, and she said, "Boy, your eyes are really sparkling. You high on that stuff?" And I said, and I'd be giggling and laughing. She said, "Yeah, you are." She said, "Let me tell you something. Sit down." She make me sit down. I'll sit down. "What you got in that bag?" "That bag is full of money." You know what I mean? She said, "I know what's in that bag." She said, "That's all an illusion." She said, "Tell me." She said, "That's all an illusion. That is not even real." And I'm listening to her, with that little smirk, and she would call me RD. Or Ralphie D. She would call me RD first, then she would call me my full name. Your mom called you full name.
In trouble.
Ralph Durham Warren. This is all an illusion. I said, "Mom, I know it's not." And I would pull out maybe one of them big old $20,000 stacks out that bag, and it was, you know how that money. Have you ever seen money close up? It just has a power over it, man. It's like maybe like the leprechaun, how the leprechaun gold is, it kind of glows, and you're looking at this money. And it's, she said, "You're gonna see what I'm talking about. You don't see it. You don't see it." But years later, after I got to prison, I understood what she was saying, because that's what it was. It's an illusion. It's just an illusion. You have the money right now, but can you really spend it? When a person sells drugs and they go down, and we know how that feels. Only thing you can spend in that prison is $300 or so for commissary. I don't care how much money you got. You still can't buy no more than that. You can't buy with $300 stuff. So, and then whoever you give your money to out in the street, listen, drug dealers, then you get in trouble. What do you think they're going to do with that money after you've been gone 5 or 10 years? What do you think that girl that now is looking at sport coat going to do when you've been gone 10 years and she has your money? Do you think she's going to give it back to you? Or if you give somebody $500 million and you're gone for 10 years, do you think they want to give you that money back? Do you think so?
No, they're not.
No, you're in prison, and you better leave that money alone if you got good sense, because I knew some guys that got out of prison, they gave people money, they go back and try to get the money, they come up missing.
Right.
They come up missing. So that money is what got you into all of this, and that money is this is the problem.
Okay, to finish off with that question I asked you, how did you feel when the judge gave you that sentence?
Did it hurt? Yeah. It really stung. It's like a hollow feeling, that it goes right into your heart. Have you been hitting your chest real hard? Like somebody hit you in the chest real hard, like boom, and you kind of feel it right in the heart, like and then it hurt. It hurt, and it was a shameful feeling too, because you're thinking, like I've said before, that when we think of United States of America, when we think of a democracy or government, we think of our friends. We think that if I'm wrong, they're not going to do me too harshly. They're not going to treat me too harshly. They're going to find a way to perhaps even find a way to help correct, you know, me from the errors of my own ways. They're going to somehow, you know, do something to make it, you know, right, where I could be rehabilitated or something like that. But a sentence like 2 life sentences, there is no rehabilitation. That's it. That's it. You have
ball game.
It's ball game. You have a death sentence on an installment plan. That means they'll kill you little bit by little bit every year.
Okay, we're back with Soul Central Magazine with Mr. Ralph Warren.
Okay.
Can we finish talking about the topic about, you know, your time during prison?
Sure.
What were you doing during that time?
Sure. You know, like I said earlier, when I first realized the error of my ways, and I got real mad at doing what I was, I made the decision to go into, you know, selling drugs. I was furious. I used to run and swing at the air, and boy, I was just so mad I made that decision because I couldn't forgive myself. It was hard for me to forgive myself for actually going off into selling drugs. But God dealt with me. He dealt with me, and He made me realize that I had to forgive myself. And He said, if you're going to move on, you got to forgive yourself and keep right on going, and just try to do the best that you could do. So that's what I did. I said, you're right. I used to think about it all the time. I said, God want me to do the best that I could do, and that's what I'm going to do from this point on, from 1990 when I got to that prison, and I realized that that's what I was going to do. So I began to read the Bible, and I know a lot of people, they don't read the Bible. They may read the Quran. Well, God bless you for that. But I read the Bible.
All right.
And I read the Bible backwards and frontwards, maybe 7, 8, 9 years. I mean, I used to tear up Bibles literally. Usually I bring in my presentations the same Bible that I had in 1990 that I always use as a reference, as a Thompson Train reference. But that's what I did. I read that Bible, man. I loved it, and I put it to practice. I didn't, for the first 5 or 6 years, I didn't even look at no porn, anything, you know, pornographic or any types of television shows that were too, you know, lewd and things like that. I just read the Bible, and I got that word deep down in my spirit. And then God has strengthened me and tell me that this is what you do, that you do the best that you could do. And then from this point on, He said, because when I stand before Him, then I could always tell Him that, listen, I'm here, but listen, I made some mistakes in my life, but after I made the mistakes, then I did the best that I could do. So I'm sorry for what I've done, God, but this is me now. From that point on, you got to look back at what I did well. So that's what I began to do well. I took up being a paralegal, and that's today. I got 4 diplomas as a paralegal. You know,
Awesome.
four diplomas as a paralegal. I did over my 27 years in prison, over 350 cases in prison, civil cases, criminal cases, many in the Supreme Court. I don't talk about and brag and squeeze myself about the things that I've done, but you go back and you check with some of those people, and then when they hear this tape, they say, yeah, he did. He got us out. I went to the Supreme Court, filed files in the Supreme Court to help people get out of prison, you know. And, you know, some wrote a letter back, but I understood how life goes on when you're out on the street. This life is much faster. So I got those diplomas. And one thing I did in prison that a lot of people probably will find it really hard to latch onto is that I worked a job making $1 an hour for Unicorn Industries. And this is an industry that you can learn certain skills, and work ethic is always there. The work is sort of difficult, and like I explained before, we built electronic cables, and I worked along with guys with engineering degrees, and this was very, very hard work and a very disciplined work. Any kind of error, then it's not going to show up, it's not going to work, and your buyers are not going to buy. So I did the work for $1 an hour. Officers got paid $70. We did military contracts, multi-million-dollar contracts. I was responsible for that. I had to train people coming from the prison, motivating them, telling them this is the best thing for you, better than stealing a tomato or orange, and selling it, better than doing whatever you're doing. You can come out here and learn the ethic, you know what I mean? You don't have to steal, you know?
I remember those days, man, and because I am reformed, I reformed myself. I was in prison too, and I worked in kitchens, so I was always stealing the potatoes and everything, bringing them back to the unit, and you know, be making our own dishes, you know.
Yeah, but they take the tomatoes and the meat, they put them in the bag. You don't know where this food has been. And you're hungry, there's a microwave, so you're going to cook it in the microwave. But some of the guys, I was skeptical, you know. But they bring chicken back and you hungry, it's late at night, they pull it out their pocket, you like, oh my goodness, look what I've become. I can't believe it. I'm eating out the trash now, but you know, it's just this is prison life. You're gonna be hungry. You're gonna get in. Oh, you got to change. You know, they say one reason that they said the dinosaur that didn't make it was because the dinosaur could not adapt to the ice and the cold. So you have to learn how to adapt, and this is what's going on. So you just have to jump on in there and do the best that you can, and get in where you're fitting. And that's what they say. So that's what I did partly. And then I took up reading and doing novel writing, like I said, and then script writing, things that I left back behind when I was at the university. I picked back up once I got down. So I took, 15 years of studying from LA to New York, writing scripts, writing novels up under some of the greatest teachers around. I had friends sending big books of how to load cameras and how to the 180-degree rule and how to set your scripts and how to do your documentaries. I'm interested in stuff. I mean, I cherish those friends that I had that stuck with me, because they sent me those materials, and because they did, I was able to come to a certain level of my craft when it comes to writing and so forth.
And that's the thing, and what he's talking about, y'all. This is one of the novels that Mr. Warren has. And you got this right here out right now, and you have a few more that's coming.
Yes.
So now you become an author. You writing movie scripts and different things. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. That's going to be coming soon. Let's speak on that right quick. You know what I'm saying? Before we get to the part of the clemency and how this all took place to you sitting here right now with us today. Let's talk about this right.
The book, okay. All right, this is a book that I wrote, that I have written called Target. It was a book about actually sophisticated women, educated women with degrees that were duped into becoming a criminal, doing criminal acts. And the thing, like I said, that inspired me to do such work. And behind all works, if you once you become a writer, there's something behind it. There's a dramatic center that wants to push you through to that writing. And what pushed me through to this was that, I found out that when you're incarcerated and you're in the perils of life, that sometimes, real sophisticated and educated women, they don't want anything to do with you. And I understand that to a certain extent, but I thought it was a bit shameful, why would you do that? I mean, everybody makes a mistake and everybody deserves, respect regardless of what, and a chance, And I understand people choose who they want to choose for mates, but I kind of took that person like, wow, that's something else. That's mean-spirited. So let me write me a book about women who are educated and who are going to be duped into robbing a bank. Let's see if I can't shape the circumstances to make this real, to make this come straight to life. Now, I had to consider to myself, what would cause somebody to do something like that? And so I put it here. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to shape the conditions, because if the conditions are right for anybody, you can't commit a crime. You won't say no. You'll do it. You'll do it if the conditions are right. So this is what they did. I shaped the conditions here. 3 beautiful black women, and they end up doing it. And the ending is great because they did get the money, and they somehow turned the tables. I don't want to tell you everything, right? Because they'll give it away. But they came together and said, "Man, this is something else, and we just can't go down like this." And they put their minds together. We done did this crime, so what we gonna do now? And so when it ends on an upbeat note, and it's open for a sequel. But it's a great read because of that emotional level that women have to their characters. They got so many levels. Us as guys, we laid back, we're sort of cool. But women, they get all into that thing. When they You ever seen a women drug dealer? I mean, they be fierce. They be
Sure
fierce.
do.
I seen some kind of movie called Queen of the South.
Queen of the South? Oh, yeah.
You seen that?
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
She's treacherous.
Oh, my goodness.
And let's talk about something. Me and my wife, we just watched the KingPin.
Queen, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she was fierce. You know?
Yes.
I mean, didn't care. Just,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, not like the guys. It's brilliant.
Right.
To see a woman commit a crime and a guy commit a crime, you're looking at like two different planets. It's
Right,
like,
right.
It's two different planets. You know what I mean? So this is what this is about. I think you would enjoy it. You know, just get
Well,
it.
how can you let the world know, how can they get this?
Okay, you can get this off of my website. That's just author.RalphDWarren.com. You can also get it off Amazon, and it's at Barnes and Nobles. See, what else? We have a thing called Craig Space. It's on that also. So it's 3 ways you can get it: Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, and off of my website. Preferably, get it off my website.
Right.
And I'll send it straight to you, and then we can get your comments and everything and your thoughts on it. And I think you'll enjoy it. It's a great read. You know, it's a good book. When it's kind of lengthy. Some people say, man, you could have cut that in half and made it 2 stories. I was like, nah, because when I was reading, I read books and it stops right in the middle. I said, why would they do that? You know, because you have to pay extra, $15 to get another book. I want to get all the story right here. So this is what I did. I gave it to everybody right in one book. So this is what it is.
Okay, this is right here. This is to Mark Rowe, the editor-in-chief at Soul Central Magazine. My brother, I'm going to get you one to you over there in London, all right? Okay, all right. And speaking of, the positive things that you got going right now, right quick. First, before we do that, let's get right into the clemency, because I know people are listening to what's going on and like, hold on, how this man get here?
Okay.
2 life sentences? You know what I'm saying?
And 336.
Yeah, it was 360 months or 30 years,
So, how did this come about? Let us know what happened.
Well, this is what happened. I'm in prison, and I filed. I do legal work, so I'm helping guys, get out of prison every day. And as soon as President Obama was elected into his presidency back in 2009. He elected in 2008, but he became president in 2009. I said, man, something rose up in me. I had, after you do like 20 years out, and you do this kind of time, you thinking about it, and everybody else has lost hope, and I understand it. I mean, 20 years is a lot of time, but I didn't lose hope. And so when I seen that he was elected president, I filed my first clemency back in 2009, straight to him, saying, hey, this is what it is, and I've stayed out of trouble. I've studied Spanish. I've taught GED in 2 languages. I worked in prisons for 20-something years for $1 an hour. And so I had been doing legal work for people and when President Obama was elected. And so I said, this is my chance. I had a flicker of hope still left, because after 20 years, believe it or not, the hope was draining up out of me. The faith was leaving. I still was real vigilant with the Bible and going to services, of being a public servant right there in prison, helping those that were, that couldn't help themselves. I would do that. I got, like I said, many people out of prison. But I filed my first clemency in like 2009 to him. And I didn't get an answer. It was a couple of years went by, and I didn't get an answer. I said, man, I didn't get no answer. 3rd year went by. I didn't get an answer. 213 now. And then I said, whoa, still no answer. And then what I did, I filed another one in 013. I said, well, listen, he was re-elected president in 012. And I filed another one in 013. And as soon as I filed in 013, there was talk about him actually visiting federal prisons. When I heard that, my hope raised up just a little further in me, but it wasn't much, because when you get a life sentence, it's over. If anything shy of a miracle, you're going to be there, especially if you're a guy like me who was, classified as a kingpin, who admittedly had, participated in quantities and quantities of cocaine. and been involved in that life on that level. It just wasn't like a first-time offender, lower level dealer.
Right.
But this is the thing they wanted to let out. They wanted to let out first-time offenders, lower level traffickers.
Right.
Those that had small amounts of drugs and things like that. Yet, I still filed anyway. I filed in 013 anyhow. I talked to a friend of mine, Mr. Peacock. Mr. Peacock talked to an attorney, Mr. Jacobs.
Mr. Peacock, Reginald Peacock.
Reggie Peacock.
Okay.
He talks to Jacob. He's like my brother. He said, "Oh, we the big Ralphie, you coming home?" I'm like, man, how can this man say that? You know, because at this point, you know, you got, what, 24 years in prison, and it just sounds so strange, but he had hope, and my little sister Teresa, she also had hope, and I didn't have much. Admittedly, I didn't have much. I don't know what's going to happen here. And all your friends and everybody's gone, your family, most of them like, no, you're not going to be getting out, so why do you keep saying that there's a chance and there's no chance that you're going to get out? And it kind of rides on you. And what else bothers you too, I wanted to interject, is that when you're doing these kind of sentences, like I was, in my case, officers would come to me and tell me like, man, if I were you, I just kill myself. They said, this is how you do it. You can go do it right back in the back there. Every so often they will come to you and tell you, you could die on your own. Why die on their terms? You're a good person, go and die on your own terms. Just go back there.
See how the devil mad.
Go back there and take care of your business.
Terrible.
Wow.
Take care of your business. That's like handing your gun and saying, just shoot yourself.
What's going through your mind? They tell you that.
That hurted, man. That really, that bothered, that troubled me. That hurt me. Just thinking that someone could think that I would do something like that, or if, in the way I was thinking, are they telling me something for real? Because you in a real sensitive state when you're doing this kind of time, and you know, anytime somebody talk about dying in prison, you kind of get shook up, and you be like, you know, and then are they telling me right? Should I just go and kill myself? And I'll be like, no, heck no. I'm gonna tell them each time, I'm gonna ride this thing out. I'm gonna see where this thing is gonna go. I'm gonna see exactly what life is about. And then when I die, God would know that I did the best I could. But I'm not gonna do that because I don't know. Anything could happen. And what I understand about the universe is that, number one, you know, God has order. Number two, everything moves. That means we don't live in a static universe. You don't know what's going to happen. It's unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. Anything can happen. And because of that, I was like, nope, I'm just going to wait it out. And then I also remember the Bible when they talk about Jesus, when the devil told him he was high up on a mountain. I don't know if you remember. He told Jesus to throw himself down on the rocks.
You're the son of God.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and kill yourself. Yeah, so I was thinking like, yeah, the angels will save you, but Jesus wouldn't do it. He believed on God and in the Word of God. And I'm like, that's what they try to tell me, to kill myself. They said, well, if you think that God's going to save you, go and do it. But I'm like, no. I'm just going to ride this out. You know, suicide is not in the plan. It's not in the plan. So I wrote it out. That's what I did. I wrote it out. I got real nervous. 2:15, they were letting the guys I were doing in cases, they were letting them out. Some other guys said, Ralph, I'm getting out. Everybody said, Ralph, where's your petition? They're coming and telling me it's 016 now, asking me, where's your petition? I said, well, it's in the court. They said, well, you know, President Obama's leaving in 017. I said, well, I didn't send another one. And I got real nervous. And I did another one. I said, maybe you guys lost that other one. But here's another one right here. I'm sending this one in. I don't know what happened in that one. I put mine in 013. Where is it at? Do anybody know where it is? I'm worried. The case managers and they said, don't keep sending petitions in. I said, no, I got to figure out what's going on here. I'm running back and forth. I'm nervous and not really know what's happening. And then December came, still nothing happened. I called home. They didn't really want to talk to me. You know, oh no, you're gonna be there. Almost leaning toward you need to make a plan just in case you don't get this, and the chances are you won't. They was telling me you won't. I couldn't find Mark Jacobs anywhere to talk to. I had nobody to talk to but God. He got it. And then the last part of December came, Christmas, and I had done at that point 27 Thanksgivings. 27 Christmases in prison, and every time around those, boy, you get, it takes the meaning of the holiday. It takes, when you get so many in, you know, Christmas, I don't even want a Christmas card. I mean, it's nice. You look at it, it's nice, but it's not, you'd rather be at home. But the reality is that you're in prison, and this is your place in life, and this is where, you know, I was going to be. And I had to accept that. January rolled around, well, still everybody's getting let out. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is January. Martin Luther King's birthday rolled out, on January 16th. We celebrated on that day, and there we were. I'm like, oh my goodness, Obama has 1 week. President Obama has 1 week before he's released. And everybody looking at me like this here. Shame on you. You're going to be here with the rest of us. And this is like what they said. You're going to die here. You better get you some insurance because it's all over. And that night, I got to let everybody know, that night I got in the mirror, and it was like a Monday night, because that's the day we celebrated Martin Luther King's birthday. And I got to praying. And, you know, as traditional Christians, we all think about just those traditional prayers, God, let your will be done. And, you know I did wrong, and it's not your fault, and Lord, please help me, and woo, woo, woo. I started just praying that prayer, and that's it. But some just like slapped me in the face real hard, like, ah, no, scratch that. God, wait a minute. Take all that back. And I'm looking in the mirror, and almost like an echo. It's almost like an echo that I'm praying, talking, and in the cell, because you're by yourself. It's an echo I'm hearing, just resonating in my heart, down in my belly. It's like we got a direct line. And I said, you know, God, this is it. This is it. President Obama is leaving in 4 days. Tomorrow is Tuesday. That means she got, no, not 4 days, 2 days. So we only got 2 days for this thing. Now, I believe in you. I know that you are a God of miracles. I read the Bible where you stopped the earth from spinning. For a whole day, you just made it stand still. I mean, the Bible says the earth didn't move. The Bible tells me that you opened up a Red Sea and let people through on the dry land. I said you healed the sick, and I've seen where you raised the dead. And that's what I need. I need a miracle now. You know what I'm saying? And man, I got real emotional with the prayer. And I said, I need a miracle from you now. I need that miracle, and I need that miracle now. I said, I know you can do it. You're not going to let everybody laugh at me, knowing I prayed to you for all these years, doing right as best as I could. I got all this work, these scripts, I got all my accolades that I've learned, working, slaving, avoiding trouble. I said, you can't let me go down into this pit like this. And I believe God for that miracle. And I left it at that night. And I laid back and I put on some music. It may have been Rihanna, it may have been somebody else, and I took my foot and put it up on the wall, and I fell asleep. Next day, they were calling people down. I was at work, they calling people down by the boatloads, and they just denying them left and right. This is denial day. Oh my God, guys with just a gram, guys with just a bullet, guys with real small amounts of marijuana. Oh my goodness. Every time I'm seeing this stuff, I'm like, well, you know what you're going to get. Then they called my name on denial day. On denial day. I'm like, oh my God. And when everybody else has been getting denied. Nobody's getting anything granted. On denial day. I'm like, well, here you are, God. You up right now. This is it. You know, I kind of got sort of nervous. My mouth sort of turned white. And I walked down the hall. When I got down the hall, they got me into the little room there. When I sat in that room, they wouldn't look at me in the eye. I knew something was up. I didn't know. I couldn't tell. And they said, your lawyer's on the phone. I said, this is it right here. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is it. What it's going to be. Is it good? Is it bad? And Mark Jacobs, my attorney, got me on the phone. He was so slow. I said, well, Mark, what's going on, man? He said, well, you know, we got a decision today. I said, yeah, a lot of people got decisions today. He said, yeah, they do, because he's leaving in a couple of days. I said, yeah, 2 days to be exact. I said, so what is it, Mark? He said, I got news. I got news. He said, well, Ralph, I got the paper right here and I opened it. He said, I'm opening it up. And the paper says that you're coming home. He says that, home? I said, home? Man, all I heard was you're going home.
Right.
And it just echoed. It echoed in my ears. That's all. He was saying something else. That's all I heard. And it was like, man, it was like hitting a jump shot from out of bounds, you know, on the last second of it.
Right.
Just throw it in, just get it, and
That's
just throw it.
what it was.
And it went straight in, man. I didn't tear up or nothing like that. It was like I was running or I was playing basketball and I hit a long shot or God hit it and we just won the game. So I was jumping up. I was jumping up like in Jubilee.
Right.
It's Jubilee because I knew God had did that.
Right.
Because it couldn't have been any kind of way. Because here's everybody else. They got grams. They got little pieces of marijuana. Listen, I have truckloads of, we have, you know, more cocaine than you could sniff in a couple years. You know, this is incredible. So I got to dancing down the hallway. I did the slide, I did the one, the electric eel. I was jumping up, dancing, everybody see me dancing, come down the hallway. Hey, I was sliding, I even did one of them kind of, man, I did all kind of down, rolling around.
Was you dabbing and all
I
that?
did everything I knew how to do, man. I was jumping up and down, and man, it was just like, it was a feeling of jubilee, of joy. You know, not nothing sad. It wasn't where I was going to cry, because I really didn't tear up until that night, till I thought about actually what God had did. He said, you're going home. That means all your work that you work for, everything you got that prayer that you prayed to me. Okay, you up, Ralph Warren, you are up. Let's see what you got now. Your turn. Ball is in your hand. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you do. And man, I said, oh yeah, it's in my part. Oh, you want to see what I can do? Okay, and this is what I can do. You know, my message is clear. You know, to everybody's out there. Number one, don't give up.
Yes.
Number one, because it ain't over. Not even when the Fat Lady Singers is not over. If people tell you to do the other thing, don't do it. Hold on to your faith. Hold on to your hope. Always do the best that you can do. Don't have it any other kind of way. The best. The standard is perfection. You don't measure yourself against the worst. You measure yourself against the best. You measure against the best, and you always do the best you can. These things happen to me because I wasn't doing the best that I could do. I settled for mediocrity. I settled just doing average things when that wasn't in me. What's in me is always to strive for the best. So you can do that. All you have to do is put down any kind of doubt, focus, but number one, you got to make your mind up to do what's right.
And this right here, message right here to our good friend, Dr. Mutulu Shakur.
You don't give up.
Don't give up.
You never give up.
Mr. Malachi York, Dr. Malachi York, don't give up.
No, you can't. You can't. Because somebody's waiting on you, somebody's counting on you, and God hears you. God knows your heart. He knows what you've been through. He's watching you, your every move. He's seeing all the good in you, and he wants that good. He wants to use that good for his kingdom, for people now that needs to hear your voice, that needs to touch your hand, that needs to touch your shoulders and look straight into your eyes, and they can see it in you. When they come around you, they can feel it. You know, the guys have big influence over masses of people. I may have influence over just a few people here, but you guys, you have influence over masses and masses of people because your voice is strong and your hand and your hand is large. So just stay in there. Don't give up. You know, I want to see you. I want to see you and look you in the eye. And we know the eye. We know that eye of the tiger, and I know you got it because it's in me too. So that's my message to you guys, man.
Powerful testament right
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Powerful testimony. Look, so let's wrap it up. Man, it's a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, seeing that you was coming home, man, it was like, yo, what? You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of people would think that. But, you know, you're a true legend in, you know what I'm saying, in our community, you know what I'm saying? And he just gave me a blessing too, Mark, He just named a new manager.
Yes, I want you to know now that, yeah, this is my brand new manager.
Yay.
I've been praying for this. I've been praying for this for a while. I said, you know, we don't live on islands by ourselves.
Right.
You know, when good minds bind together, then you've got something great that's going to happen.
Exactly.
That's the only thing that can happen. So,
Hold on. Keep talking. I got something to show y'all.
yeah.
And that will lead up into what's next for Mr. Rockland.
Yeah, right now I'm working at Lima Yuma Down. As a matter of fact, they actually pay me to come and give presentations and to make sure that I raise up that name. There's a drug and alcohol treatment agency up in Lima, Ohio. We're a great group of people. We work to provide services for those with alcohol and cocaine and heroin dependency. The heroin epidemic is ravaging Ohio, down in Dayton, especially down in Dayton. I'm hoping people down in Dayton will see this, that yeah, you can come part of that too, but you got to make your mind up. Everything starts with that made-up mind. Without that made-up mind, you're going to venture back and forth. You got to make your mind up first. Once you make your mind up, then you start counting your victories. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1. But you got to make your mind up. You got to make your mind up to get in that fight and to get rid of that addiction and to get rid of the trouble that you're in and to be the person that you need to be, that God expects you to be. It's a fight with the human spirit. Just let that rise up in you. And yes, we're waiting on you too. Okay?
Amen.
All right, this is something. This right here is a script, Mark. It's a script by Mr. Ralph Warren, movie script. We be talking about movies and things like that. But it's called Rain. All right. Once everything is proofread and everything, you know what I'm saying, we getting that over to you. So y'all be on the lookout. You know what I'm saying, for the movie. You know what I'm saying, and we're gonna put this in motion real quick.
It's about a woman called Cherry Flower. She has a mental illness, schizophrenic, and what it is that she gives the whole movie dimension because of her illness, and she abuses her daughter and it goes down there. But she has a real peculiar background in that she was once a KingPin in New York. And what made her actually rise to doing some of the things that she's doing, that learned how to do, was that she was brutally raped by a group of drug dealers, and then she grew up to hate them, and with that came a illness that she never got rid of, and that's how the movie springs forth. It's out of that type of element, of that condition, that she comes forth, and she is a character in herself, a dynamic character that I created, you know, without looking at anybody, just creating this, knowing that these kind of illnesses are something that I reckon we deal with, especially in our community.
Right.
When we tend to look away from people with mental health issues, and we don't want to deal with them. And she had one, but she still could function. She was functioning, but she still did some wrong things. I hope you enjoy this. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we can't give you the whole thing, but it's coming soon. Believe that we're gonna put this together.
Yeah.
So, on that note, man, you know what I'm saying? To everybody out there at Soul Central, you know what I'm saying, all around the world, you know, we have another great story that we gave y'all. You know, we gave it to you raw. You know, and I hope you. People out there, you know, if you just reach one person, change life, whatever, that's what we're about servicing, you know what I'm saying, our fellow sister or brother, you know what I'm saying. So that's what we do up here at Soul Central. You know, so on that note, you know what I'm saying, y'all have a good day, good evening, all right?
See you later.
One love.
Soul Central
Peace.
magazine.
Follow www.soulcentralmagazine.com.
About to spit a couple bars.
Hey Lucy, turn that shit up.
Ring ring, that's the plastic calling. 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 Yeah, I fill my pockets till I'm yawning. Yeah, I work hard till the morning. Millie rock on your ass while you stalling. Flow come cold.